What is going on, guys? Joey here, on my way to zoo culture. Gonna hit some bodybuilding legs. Can't wait to limp out of the gym. And a topic came to me today just out of nowhere, and I thought to myself, you know what? That would be useful for people, so I am going to cover it. It is probably review for some of you guys, but sometimes when we are flustered or we don't really know, like, okay, why aren't we progressing? And we're watching other people on social media and we're trying to get ideas from that. I'm just going to try to help ground you a little bit and perhaps get you back on the right track. So essentially, what you need to break through your little plateau, sticky spot, whatever it is, you feel like maybe you're spinning your wheels. It could be different things. It might not even be that you just need to deload in that moment. It could be that something in your preparation, something in your planning, something in whatever it is that you're doing it's just not there. So I'm gonna give you some examples. For some of you, you may need to really just take the time and figure out your macros, figure out how much protein you should be getting, work on your recovery habits. That, if you spend most of your energy on that is what's going to help you get to where you want to go. For others, it might not even be that. They might be doing everything right outside of the gym. Right, literally everything that you're doing is locked in. It is precise. It is exactly what it needs to be. But your actual training and your planning, it's not enough, or it's too little, or the block is just not correct. What you need, your training method is just not effective for you. And I've literally had coaches come to me and say, like, I have this lifter. Sorry about that. I'm not going to edit that out. I have coaches come to me and they say things like, I have this lifter and, they're doing great on this and this, but I don't know what it is. I just can't get them over this hump. So I take a look at what they're doing and I might say, have you tried doing this? Let me give you an example, a real example. It was, they wanted to add more bench press to this person's program, but that person was having issues just doing more benching. So what I would do, what I told them was, instead of adding a third bench day, you just gotta, US 101 South Ramp on the right. You just gotta believe them and say, okay, if they're saying that, this person can't handle any more benching, which to me, everybody should be able to handle an extra, if you're benching twice a week and you're adding an RPE 4 or 5 day, a crazy light day, you might as well write the weight in that light, and they can't handle it, then, okay, let's say that's true. This person just has, they just can't take it. The shoulders can't take it. The pecs can't take it, whatever. I said, well, have you tried adding in more pressing, not necessarily bench? So it could be something with dumbbells. It could be shoulder pressing. It could be even a machine, just anything that you can do to get them to press more and stimulate those muscles. And they said, okay, let me try that. And literally in 3 to 4 weeks, they sent me a PR, and I was like, there you go. There it is. That's what that person needed. Their nutrition was on point. Everything else was locked in. For somebody else, it might be your mentals. You might be doing everything right, but there's something about your mental state that when it's time to execute, when it's time to carry out your plan, you don't have the confidence. You don't really believe in what you're doing. You're really indecisive and you want to constantly change what you're doing. Instead of just focusing on what's in front of you and saying, I'm committing to this. When I give someone a program or let me use me as an example. When I would write myself a program, or way in the early days, 2012, 2013, when I had a coach, a bodybuilding coach, I didn't question what I was given. I knew like a sort of a framework of like kind of what I wanted to do, but I didn't, I'm the one asking for help. So I'm not going to be telling them what to do. I said, okay, I'm doing this. I'm going to listen, and I'm not going to question it. And executing a plan, I forget who said this. I heard it like back in the day. It must have been like 2015. It was like executing a plan with conviction, even if it's not the best plan, the absolute best plan, is going to give better results than the best possible plan that you don't believe in. And I also think that works with, coaching too. If you're working with someone and you absolutely believe in them, and it's not the perfect execution, maybe it's like 80% of what you need, you're probably going to get, you're probably going to get way better results than if you, had the perfect plan, but you were kind of like, I don't know. And that's an interesting thought, because when I think about it, I think to myself, how is it possible that just the mental state, I know this is a thing. We all know this is a thing. How can the mental state affect you that much? I mean, placebo is incredibly powerful. In my opinion, placebo is like more powerful than like a lot of other variables. And I know it sounds crazy. Another factor could potentially be that if the person doesn't believe in the program, despite them thinking that they're doing everything they're supposed to be doing, they're not. They're actually not. It's translating into a problem or a misstep somewhere that is preventing them from carrying out the plan with complete conviction. Right? So far we went over, your training might not be correct, your nutrition needs to be on point, you need to have conviction in the plan, you need to believe in it. Sometimes you do all of those things right, but there are some circumstances that happened that were out of your control, whether it be in prep or sort of at the last minute, and it did kind of affect your meet. I think in that situation, you just have to be able to bounce out of that. You have to be able to say, you know what, shit happened. There wasn't really anything I could do about it. I'm not going to beat myself up over it. You live to fight another day, and you kind of move on. And that is a very mature way to go about things. I have had young lifters that have shown me that early on, like, wow, this person really knows how to deal with adversity, and they've gone on to become some of the best lifters you guys have seen. You know what I mean? And that is something that you can learn over time through the ups and downs of life, but you can also, your parents might teach it to you some way. You might learn it in school. You might have played sports when you were younger. I believe powerlifting has the tools to inevitably get you there, but it may take some time. And, there is no top athlete that has not dealt with like crazy adversity. Like, nobody just goes through life and everything is perfect and they just never have any problems and there's just no struggles and everything is just super easy. Some more than others, of course, but I think that challenge and that struggle, it's just going to make you bulletproof if you get through it. When you get through it, you literally have to get through it. You just got to keep moving. Just keep moving forward. And I think, just thinking about all the things that make a top level athlete, all the different moving parts that go into it, it's one of those things where you have to identify. I'll tell you, you guys have heard me say this before. For me, my biggest kind of weakness or something that I know that I need to work on when I was prepping for me was, I know that I don't necessarily my protein is just not good. It's just not good. It's amazing that I even did what I did when I want to say literally 80 to 90% of my prep, I was getting under 200 grams of protein. That is not sufficient for somebody my size. I would get 170, I would have to give effort to get over 200. It was very difficult for me to eat enough meat to get that. Now shakes, it's debatable. I believe having low protein with no shake is the worst. Having enough protein with shakes is much better, but having enough protein with like minimal shakes and mostly like food, I mean, that's the best, you know. And you're gonna be bigger, you're gonna be stronger, you're gonna feel better. It's just healthier for you, you know. There's just that's what I knew my weakness was. For other people, it might be other things, right? It might be you guys have heard me say this in the past, but like also what really helped me take off, it was two things. It was one, stop focusing on deadlift so much. Stop worrying about my deadlift so much. Genetically, I am not built to deadlift. It is a tough lift for me to do consistently without running into some sort of like knick-knack or a little injury or something like that. It was very difficult for me. But, you know, I just said, I'm going to build my total with my squat and my bench. I'll make baby steps on my deadlift. The most important thing for me is to be able to do it safely. And then I found a way to inevitably progress my deadlift without necessarily having to train it so often, right? The glutes are involved in both lifts. And I already have super strong quads. I already have super strong hamstrings. I already have super strong glutes. It was just my legs were so strong and my torso was so long, my arms were so short, that it's so much power coming off the ground that I can never keep my back straight enough, and I would always coil up. So when I'm at lockout, it was just impossible to, like, I could get 700 up above my knees to my thighs, but I could never straighten it out because I just didn't have the back strength to do that. Now when I was bigger, so it plays into the next factor. Remember I said it was two things. When I got bigger, it was much harder for me with the belt to round. So my back would stay straighter for longer in the lift, and I wouldn't be in such a compromised position when I would get...
Take exit 21 on the road.
Man, I'm about to delete this car. When I was in such a compromised position. So, you know, it's the sooner that you can identify, like, okay, this is my weakness. This is something that I need to fix and be better at. Shit, it might even be in, like, motivation. Like, you might think you want something, but then when it really comes down to it, and, like, maybe you have a coach, or maybe you're doing the right things, and you know, like, okay, I got the best coach, and you believe in them. They have all these lifters, whatever, and you're like, everybody's getting success on the team. But then once you get down to it, you realize I didn't want this as bad as I thought I did, or I didn't love this as much as I thought I did. And that's okay. I mean, at the end of the day, I believe that when you pursue something, inevitably, like when you get to that point where you have to, like, really get down to it, and you're really a power lifter, like you're really doing what it takes to get stronger, if you have an epiphany and you're like, yeah, I don't love this, then no worries, man. That helps you move forward in life, because now you're not going to waste your time on something that you didn't really love to begin with. But you wouldn't have found that out unless you tried. Like, you had to, like, go through it to realize, yeah, I didn't really care about this, or this is not really what I wanted. So, alrighty, fellas, I'm about to get to the gym. I hope you're able to take something away from that. You know, especially for you younger lifters out there, you have to really just kind of think about, all right, what do I think I could be better at? What area could I improve? And you just want to, it's all about being efficient with your time and your energy, right? Yeah, like, maybe you could make like a little tiny adjustment to your program that makes it 0.05% better. But is it really worth stressing over that versus stressing over, like, all right, let me allocate my time in my day to making my meals, or bringing water with me, or going to bed early, or telling my girlfriend, you know, I love you a lot, but, like, I really want to do good at this meet, and, like, I know you want me to stay up till 2 a.m. on the phone, but, like, I need to go to bed at, like, 11:30 because I have to wake up at 7 for school, and, like, we could see each other on this day. Like, you just got to put your foot down and be, I don't want to say, yeah, you kind of want to be a little selfish when you're really young, because you don't know, right? You get to invest in yourself a lot. Like, obviously, like, don't be a dickhead. Like, be respectful and, you know, pay respects where it's due and stuff like that. But if you have to make little sacrifices here and there for something that's going to be unbelievably special, then you got to do that. You got to do that, because you're going to look back in your life and you're like, our joints are only going to last so long. There will be a time in your life when you look back and say, I squatted X amount of weight and that was the heaviest I ever squatted, and I never squatted more than that, or benched, or totaled. I totaled this, that was my best total, and I never could beat that. Because, you know, time comes for us all. And when you think that way, it's going to give you that sense of urgency. It's going to give you a sense of, like, I don't have forever to do this, and I want to make the best of it with the time that I have. You don't know when your body might say, you're done. You know? I don't want to say that happened to me, but it's been tough to get back to it, fellas. I'm way older than you guys think, so probably not that old. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for making it this far. I feel like it was a useful video. Let me know in the comments below. I appreciate each and every one of you. And see you guys in the next one. Peace.